Bienvenue.
Ouais.
Vous venez d'où?
Alors, Suisse et France.
Suisse et France. Bienvenue.
Merci beaucoup.
Not the best weather of the season, but this was our summer, so it's not bad to have this weather in October. In the world, okay. Let's see at the end of our tour, okay? Let's travel back in time together. Because you have to imagine, 1,000 years ago, this place is a witness of that time. It's the oldest building in town, 800 years old, and it was used as a storehouse. The grain was stored. Here you can see the facade is hanging invented here in Gand. Yeah, and I wouldn't have gone for a morning swim in that time. Actually, it was very bad for the water quality of this river. And bien sûr, les toilettes, pour 150 mois, c'était pas bon pour la qualité de l'eau. At that time, water was considered the unhealthiest thing you could drink. Vous êtes belge normal? À peu près. Now, still today in Belgium, we like our beer. We are the second biggest beer drinkers of Europe. And on the first place? Germany? Not Germany, no. The Czech Republic. You've been there? Yeah. Well, you're right. The Czech Republic has been on the first place worldwide since 30 years now. Not bad. But here in Belgium, we are still the only country in the world where you only need one finger.
Du Pont-Neuf à Paris. Et je sais, c'est pas une copie exacte, c'est plutôt interprétation libre, mais c'est joli quand même, voilà.
When we pay honor to England, of course, we also had to honor France. And this is done by this beautiful bridge here in front of us. It's a copy of the Pont. Over here there's always a lot of ducks, but the most special birds, we can find them on our left side. There's two golden swans over there. Il y a deux cygnes ici, deux cygnes en or. C'est autre histoire, hein, parce qu'ici c'était une brasserie, mais aussi une... comment ça se dit en français? On n'a pas appris à l'école. Un bordel, ok, ça je comprends. Here on the left side, you see the old fish market of our city. Back in the days, in the Middle Ages, this was the only place in the whole city of Ghent where meat could be sold. You know why? Now, we've seen the best of London with the Big Ben. We've seen the best of Paris with the Pont-Neuf. Let's go. Yeah, we go to Brussels. You know Mannequin Peace, the P from Brussels? Yeah. Well, there he is, on the grey facade, just behind the black umbrellas. It's all around. You have them in Birmingham, statues of pelicans? No. Real pelicans? Yes, probably, that's everywhere. Huh? But statues, well, here they're a symbol for the tanner. Here on the left side is Yellow Velvet. Today it's the Museum of Folklore. So,
sujet de folklore aujourd'hui. It was made in the Middle Ages as a retirement home for all the ladies. C'était une maison de résidence pour les vieilles dames dans le voyage. But at what age do you think you were considered an old lady at the time? À quel âge vous étiez bienvenue comme vieille dame là-bas? 40, 30. Well, give you some more time. And here we are in the old industrial neighborhood of my city. All the nice restaurants you see on the left side, they used to be textile factories, storing spaces just 100 years ago, so a very different view over here. Là, c'est ici l'ancien quartier de l'industrie de Gand, le quartier industriel. Tous les belles restaurants là, c'était des fabriques de textiles. Ici, le bâtiment grand, c'était une grande boulangerie, peut-être la plus grande de la Belgique, parce qu'ici, chaque jour, on faisait le pain pour les travailleurs dans le pain. And to your right side, this brown building was once probably the biggest bakery of Belgium, because over here the bread was made daily for all the workers in the textile factories. Now, normally on tourist tours, I don't show this, because I try to show the beautiful parts of my city, the beautiful parts only. But with so many Belgians on board, I think we can be real today, right? The yellow, white building, Renové, il est juste blanc. C'est pour le Flemish aujourd'hui. And actually, these modern and ugly buildings, they are the reason that our historical center is not considered UNESCO World Heritage, like the center of Bruges in Brussels, for example. But it's not a problem to us. We got more protected historical monuments than Bruges and Brussels together. So you came at the right place, no worries. C'est pour les bâtiments modernes et moches comme celui-là. Que notre centre historique, c'est pas considéré patrimoine culturel de l'UNESCO. Pas de souci, de la sécurité. Have you met her? We're about to meet her. She's there on our left side, Margot, the Ghent. It's the red cannon over there. Now she looks very impressive, right? It's one of the oldest cannons in Europe, and it took a lot of work to bring her here as well. She was brought here to defend the city against the Spanish. But she didn't work so well. In fact, she only shot twice, because the cannonballs were way too heavy. 350 kilograms each. And they went about 50, I'm ashamed to say it's centimeter far. For my city, a merchant city, a harbour city, the connection to the seaside was always very important. And of course, if you follow the river, eventually, like all rivers, it ends up at sea. But it takes over 200 kilometers. And then you have to pass Antwerp. You have to pay a lot of taxes over there. We don't like that so much. We've always been quite rebellious people here in Ghent. So that's why we chose to dig out this canal instead. It's the oldest canal in Europe. in Italy on a boat tour, they say the same thing. So it's one of the two oldest canals in Europe. I don't want to fight with the Italians, they're on board. So yeah, it was made in the 13th century by the women of Ghent. They dug it out by hand. It took them 18 years to complete it. Then we had a faster connection to the North Sea, 40 kilometers instead of 200. And more importantly, we didn't have to pay on the way.
Alors ici, hein, c'est le plus ancien canal d'Europe. C'était dans le XIIIe siècle par les femmes de Gand à la main. Ça fait 18
Et maintenant, préparez-vous pour le moment suprême de notre tour. Get your cameras ready, because I think you will say wow in a few seconds. Ta-da!
Wow, that's a good wall. Thank you. The Castle of the Counts, le Château des Comtes, Gravensteen, Castillo de los Condes. It's the pride of our city, of course. It was made here in the year 700 to protect the city against the people from Liège. No, it's not true. Against the Vikings that came all the way up until here. And in the 12th century it was rebuilt by the Counts of Flanders, who made it their home. Not a bad home, you would think. It's a little bit above average, but in fact it was not so comfortable to live. The walls are 1.70 meters wide, so in winter it was freezing cold. So they lived here for about 80 years, and then they decided that it was time to move on, and they built a new palace a bit further down the street. Alors le château des comtes, ça fait dans le 12e siècle par les comtes de Flandre, mais c'était pas trop confortable comme maison, parce que les murs sont à 1,70 m, et comme ça, dans l'hiver ou à l'hiver, c'est quoi? En hiver, c'est ça. Quelle langue vous avez? En hiver, c'était hyper froid, voilà. Alors ils ont construit un nouveau château, voilà. Here I will be a bit quiet because the neighbors are a bit tired of hearing the same stories. I'm sorry. Enjoy the ride. Getting the ground. No, it's not getting the ground. Although he's getting there, right? He's almost the most famous Gentian, but this one is a bit older. He was born here in the year 1500s. His name is Charles, Emperor Charles V, Emperor Charles Quint, Keizer Karel V. And he had a big empire. It consisted of all of Europe except France and both of the Pont des délices impériaux. Les délices pour Charles, c'était surtout les femmes. Et dans chaque statue que vous voyez, il a une autre femme. Et il avait 39 enfants. C'est pas mal, hein? On va faire... C'est quoi, gouverner l'Europe et aussi les États-Unis. Bon, Charles il n'était pas trop populaire ici à Gand, parce qu'il était en guerre constante avec la France, bien sûr. Et comme ça, il avait besoin de beaucoup d'argent et il demandait beaucoup de taxes. Et vous savez, on est plutôt rebelle à Gand. So Charles was not so popular over here. You can see over here the big palace was standing. the palace of the prince. Termine ici et les tours c'était les portes d'entrée de Gand. This is one of my favorite parts of the city because listen how quiet it is over here. And here you can really see how much Ghent has changed in recent years. You might have noticed that there's not a lot you can walk around freely. It's nice for the people who live here, but it's also good for our air quality and the water quality. We need the water to cool down the city. I'm happy to say that our work is slowly paying off. Nature is returning to our city, and I'm happy to say that also our fish have returned to our waters. Last year we had the World Championship of Street Fishing over here. I didn't know that was a year, but apparently there's a World Championship of Street Fishing. And how big do you think the biggest fish is caught in these waters? And you see le championnat mondial du street fishing, de pêcher dans la rue, et Ghent ailleurs, c'est la plus grande compétition. You can show it with your hands if you want. They're quite serious, so they occupied the castle. Le château n'a été occupé seulement une fois par les étudiants de Gand. Parce que le prix de la bière était augmenté avec 1 franc belge, c'est 2 centimes. Les étudiants et la bière, c'est quelque chose de spécial. Hein? Voilà. On our right side, you see the smallest prison of Ghent, beauty prison de Gand. It was for what afterwards? It was a visit to the beautiful bridge. C'était pour une personne et pour une. C'était normalement la dernière. Voilà. Now this yellow building here on our right side, you would maybe expect it in Scandinavia somewhere, not in Belgium, in Norway, there are a lot of these houses. But actually this is what Ghent looked like in the early Middle Ages. Now slowly but surely we're getting towards the end of our boat tour together. And we visited all the golden ages in the history of Ghent. The Middle Ages over there with the harbor, the Industrial Age over there. With you, I hope you enjoyed it as well. I wish you a very pleasant stay here in Ghent and I want to thank you.